Hi, welcome back to Mike Makes It. I was going to report how good my steps were, how they were working and without any issues, but they've developed a problem. These are the puddle lights. I got 3 lights in each step, and the idea is you open the door and the lights come on. Well, on the driver's side they're very dim, but all the time you go round the other side. Here we go. And I've got 2 on permanently and 1's failed. Apparently. Well, no, it's just very dim in there. So something very weird's going on. How I've wired them up, I've got a permanent 12 volt supply to them, and the negative side's grounded when the steps deploy. That's when they light. So there's something in that circuitry gone awry. If you look inside, where I've got the control box, just get it out of this protective bubble wrap. 3 lights or 4 lights in there are operating correctly. If you've seen my previous videos, you can know what they're about. I'm going to press the button as if I'm closing the door, so the system knows the door's closed, but the puddle light, which is a blue light, is staying permanently on. Now that should go off. If I disconnect the box altogether, and this is where all control circuitry is, it puts the lights on and off initially, and also controls the actuator to drop the steps. With the box disconnected, the lights still are on, even though the steps don't deploy, which is kind of correct in the sense the steps shouldn't deploy, but the lights shouldn't be on either. So I've got a wiring problem somewhere in the steps back to the control box. In other words, one side of the LEDs is being grounded when it shouldn't be, and that's why they're coming on. But I'm a little bit confused why one side is very bright with a failed one, and one on the other side, the driver's side, they're all 3 are very dim. So something's weird's going on. Whether the water's got into the step, I'm about to find out. So there you go, they've deployed the steps once more. In the end of each step, well, there's a cap in both ends of the steps, but this is the end the wiring is at. So on the driver's side, I'm going to crack open the end and see what's happened. Alright, I've opened up the steps on both sides. They're both identical. This is a little cable loom coming in. These wires I've got in my hand are the cables that go directly to the LEDs. This side is 12 volts, permanent 12 volts supply. These 3 go off to ground when the doors are open. They're earthed, the lights come on. Close the doors, this ground is lifted, they float, the LEDs go off. Now what I found, one of these cables to the LEDs measures about 6K down to chassis, so that's why it's causing all the LEDs to come on. So I've disconnected this side of it, and the lights function correctly on the passenger side. Got a bigger issue going on the driver's side. If I power these up individually, none of them light, not fully. So it looks as if all 3 LEDs have failed. And I suspect what's happened over time, I've not noticed, one of the LEDs has failed, maybe the second one. The third one here, and there's some corrosion going on. I think one side of this LED is shorted to chassis. That's where we got the 6K, and that's why all the LEDs are illuminating on the passenger side. Why I haven't noticed they failed one by one over here, or why all 3 have failed together, I can't get my head around now. The 12 volts going in, there's nothing, I've not overvolted them, so I think a couple have failed and I've not noticed, and the last one's gone leaky, and that's causing the other step to illuminate all the time. If we look at these are the LEDs I'm talking about. They're not bad, they're Banggood special. They're about £2 each, so they're not a lot of money, but I think water's leaked into the lens. Obviously it's a bit of a harsh environment for these lamps to be in. I don't know if we can get a good focus on that, but you can see there's some corrosion going on around the unit itself. So I think what I'm going to do is not replace them, because I'm going to have the same issue. I feel the same issue is going to happen again. I'm going to do my second idea that I only thought about after I've drilled holes in the step, was actually to mount lights under the vehicle. So when you open the steps, you'll still get illumination, but it'll be hidden from underneath the chassis here, which you can't see. I think that's going to be a better way to go. I'm going to have a couple of holes in here, of course, or 3 holes when I take these out. Now I can either put a grommet in there, or I can replace the front part of the step. It's only 3mm aluminium checker plate, so I can easily make another one of those up. So what I shall do, another add-on to the video, will be me fitting those underside lights, because I think that's going to be better in the long term. So yeah, apart from that, steps work perfectly up until corrosion's got into the lamp. They still actuate bang on. They're really, really useful, and I am using them. I do miss them because I've had to disconnect the power, so the lights weren't on all the time, and it's quite a step up. Things I would have changed here, if I thought about it again, you see the profile of the wheel arch coming down. I would have followed that down to this step, rather than that being cut off sharp. I'd have added a little bit more on here, certainly to marry up with that. So I think that would look a bit better. But apart from that, everything else is spotty frog. So I'm going to put that back together. I'm going to leave this side disconnected from the puddle lights. The passenger side will be great, that'll still work, so anybody getting in and out with me, they'll be able to see where they're going. But I'm going to leave it so the steps will deploy, just simply the puddle lights won't light up. And I'll get online and see what I can do with some lights underneath the truck. Anyway, thanks for watching the update, and yeah, stay tuned, there'll be more coming your way.